Hello and welcome, guys, to another episode of Lead Stories, where we talk to our past alumni and also current students to find out how they're doing and also what they're up to these days. And today we have Julian, who is someone from data industry kind of right now. So, Julian, say hi to our audiences.
Hi guys.
Yeah. So, Julian, tell us about yourself and also what you do these days in your current role.
So I'm part of the analytics team. Basically, I analyze all the marketing data, most predominantly in the digital marketing industry. So what I do is that I analyze all our campaign performances, like how many emails have been sent, how many of them have been opened, and how many of the leads and the customers have actually opened the email, and also how many of them actually click the email, something like that. And also perhaps, or maybe we have social ads, ads on Facebook and Instagram, how many of them actually interacted and engaged with all of our ads. So with all the different platforms, we analyze the performance and to see whether that they are in a way effective and efficient or not. So we usually use like all those normal tools like Excel, Google Data Studio to create dashboards. So like people from different sites, clients, or from us internally, we could just open a dashboard and then we sort of interact with it and see what can we do, what can we gain, like different insights from the dashboards and all that. So basically that's what I do. I analyze and also maintain dashboards. And also with all of that, that doesn't exclude data cleaning. I also have to do data cleaning a lot of times. So basically, I also do context database cleaning, meaning to say that we have a list of contacts for each of our clients to interact with, but some of these names are all, in a sense, dirty, meaning to say that they are not clear, right. They are not scrubbed enough, they do not provide sufficient information. So we need to clean the data, and at the same time, for those gaps that we have, we need to enrich them. So we'll be using platforms like ZoomInfo, Sales Intel to find and fill the gaps for these contacts. So for example, like this person, he has put his own name, but he didn't put the company name and what does he do and his other important information. So we try to use such platform to find that data. So that's what we do in order to have a complete data set.
That is like a very wide kind of what you just mentioned is like nearly everything about different parts of data works. And also
it is very different. Like it's not just analyzing, but you also need to make it, how do you say, like like you have a tree and then you want to make it grow its fruits. So that's
right.
That's the essence of my job.
That's a good analogy there.
Yeah.
I mean, you have different data points coming from social channels, emails you mentioned, and also all these different data points coming in. You spoke about a lot of what you do. So before even coming into this role, what tell us about yourself, a bit of backstory before getting into this role.
So I actually started in finance. If you have seen through my LinkedIn profile, I actually studied finance and econometrics. So econometrics is like economics mixed with statistics. So of course, after graduating, I'll be looking for opportunities in finance field, right? So I got a job in my previous company in the finance department, and then I realized that marketing is a place where I'm more inclined to, like to understand customer behavior and all that. That's my interest in. So it's not just like stock price or a revenue profit. So that's where I ended up working in marketing. I took a leap of faith of actually applying for the marketing post, and they said they need people. So, why not? So just give it a try. And then I found another opportunity, which is more inclined towards that what I really want, that is to do data analytics in marketing. So it's like more specialized in this field. So this is the path like I want to pursue.
You mentioned about data analytics, right? In marketing.
Yes.
Is there something that you can share with us? Like, what is it different? Let's say data analytics in others versus into marketing.
It's more inclined towards marketing, definitely. In terms of doing analytics in finance, you'll be analyzing stocks, like company news, financial info, and all that. Marketing, I would say, it doesn't mean that we do not analyze those, but it'll be more inclined towards like how does a marketing campaign work, how did it perform, and also like say that we are doing customer survey, satisfaction survey. I don't know, like, oh, what do these customers say? How do they rate our product? And then that. So I'm actually very interested in that kind of domain. I understand how they think about our product and our services. And that's where my interest lies in. And also, yeah.
Is there something that excites you most within all those different domains and also different areas that you cover in your current work?
I would say it's like solving puzzles. So it's like you have this very dirty data. Like data cleaning is a very repetitive job, right? But then I think the most important thing is that you find ways to do the data cleaning in a quicker way. So it's not just like you click one cell and one cell and then clean one by one. That is not efficient. I think the most important thing is that you find that solution. I think that's the main part of being a data analyst. You find that solution, and then once you implement it, you realize that, oh, this is actually quicker and easier than just manually cleaning all of this data. So I think finding that solution is kind of like the most important part. And yeah, so it's like you are actually going through that deep thinking process, and it's like puzzle solving. So basically you have to find a way to do it. And there are multiple ways to do such data cleaning or any analyzing jobs. But I think the most important thing is that what is the best way to do so, and why do you need to do so? So procedure wise, that is also very important. And then I like to read comments. So especially if you're analyzing, you get to know the sentiment of it. So that's the enjoyment comes in.
What make you look into data science actually?
I never actually thought of that I'll be doing data science. In fact, when I first started uni, I actually before started uni, I was actually looking for a field to study, and that was actually business psychology. Way different than what I'm dealing with right now. And then afterwards, I decided, like just sign up for a business degree and then see how it goes. And then I walk into this lecture, which is actually Introduction to Statistics, and my lecturer actually sort of ignite that passion. I have a love I have a passion in numbers, but I didn't know where I could use it. So I attended that class, and then it really excites me because I didn't know that statistics can be used in these ways. So because I felt that my education of statistics in high school was kind of like like just calculate all the numbers and that's all. But then in that lecture, it really opened up my mind, and then I realized that there's so much you can do with statistics and also data, and that is the moment that I decided that I want to pursue this field. But I think but so far it's been going great, but I don't see myself like doing data science until the day that I retire. I actually wanted to do something like if possible, possibly teaching people data science. Probably at the uni, but that is one option. So it could be just being a part-time tutor and all that.
Interesting backstories. So basically you share with us all these different backstories. I mean, in your current job, do you like face any roadblocks or anything in your data analytics practice, or any challenges?
Sometimes we get very dirty data that like even we try to utilize every single brain cells. We don't know how to clean it. I think that's the problem. So we only resort to manual cleaning. I think that's like the biggest nightmare, because we do not want to do manual cleaning. Like that's the biggest nightmare. That's the last thing that we want to do. So we want to make sure that every single time that when we extract data, when we have the data source, it has to be in the sense that it has to be clear. Everything has to be followed. Everything has to follow the system, like the rules that if we say that we want to extract the data in this way, then it has to be this way. And then we have to make sure that every single data that we put in has to follow, what we want. I think this is the biggest challenge. And also automating stuff. I think this is something that we also need to learn the skills of actually automating stuff, because sooner or later you'll be analyzing more and more campaigns, and as time goes on, we have more workload. So it's also a good thing that we learn how to automate stuff. So it's not just like analyzing, but you also need to learn automate. So we're kind of like, like being a magician, trying to learn more skills already.
It
But
sounds like you are growing from a data analyst to a data scientist very soon. All this
hopefully,
difference.
yeah. I didn't learn automation until my first job. We were using Python, but then I was slightly uncomfortable back then because it was a very new thing to me. So, but it took me a while to actually getting used to it and also use it in our day-to-day jobs.
So it's like you mentioned it took you quite a while that kind of struggle. So meaning that you actually self-learn at the start, is it?
Yes, we signed up for data camp, but this was back in uni, so they actually it was actually like a perpetual, kind of like a lifelong account. So meaning to say, it will be like, okay, if you have this account, then you can use it for a lifetime. And then we learn Python, so that's where we learn how to code and all that. So sometimes, but most of the times, we just any roadblocks that we face, we just Google how to do this and that. Yeah, it's natural because we can't remember the codes all the time. Yeah. So, but the more well-versed you're in, then you don't have to Google that much. That's the stage that I want to be at.
It sounds like it's an ongoing thing and you will need to build your muscles. And when you build that, you rely less on Google, right? And also,
yeah, definitely.
Well, going into, I mean, you talk about all these different things you share with us. You mentioned about a lot of at the start, at the very beginning, you when you pick up data in a way that what is the biggest challenge in self-learning?
Not knowing what to learn. I think that's the biggest thing. Like data science, you have it, like you have statistics and programming and machine learning, but then you don't know where to start. So I think that's the biggest challenge. We don't know where to start. And also time. Time is also one aspect. I didn't get much time to do, all of this self-learning in my previous job. That's why I met a lot of stumbling block. Yeah, and then time management is also very important.
As you mentioned, I mean, there's now you do not know where to start actually from a total beginner, and I believe you're not from a tech background, no coding skills, nothing, right?
Oh, definitely no. Definitely no. Well, when we did statistics back in uni, we did actually use RStudio, R programming. So I would say that I have a little bit background, but not as technical as like people from IT do or engineering, because they use it on a daily basis. But for us, we only use it for certain subjects, and that's all about it. Yeah, that's why they say I had this lecturer, and then he said that we are not programmers. We are just using the programming language to do analysis and that. So we can't call ourselves programmers, even though we know how to do our programming and that.
Right. Totally agree with you that I think there's a very common question that we all usually get what is R programming versus Python?
Yeah.
So I believe R programming is more academic based, you can use it for research purposes and all that. And Python is a lot more automation and all that.
Yes,
I mean, you have learned both. So share with us about your opinion with these two languages.
I actually agree with what you said, because that's what I really experienced. R programming was mainly used by academicians. A lot of my statistics lecturers, like those doctors, they use RStudio. And then that's why I never got to use Python. And then moving forward, I use Python. So personally, I find Python much easier to use because the error message was actually pretty clear. Like they tell you what's wrong, where is wrong, and what is wrong. RStudio, not to say RStudio is bad, it's just that they do not. I'm not sure I haven't explored, because I haven't really explored RStudio in a very extensive way. So I'm not sure whether that we can automate stuff with RStudio. So that's one part that I may have to explore in the future date. But right now, I think I'll probably be using Python more. Yeah, because it's more relevant to what I'm working with. I mean, like with my current work, and also it has automation. I know what are the tools that can use for automation. So probably be using Python more right now.
I understand that you are part of one of our data science programs. So does that actually help you from transitioning from self-learning into a program? How's the experience like?
Since I've been exposed to different topics in the course, like machine learning, because I don't think that I think it's a good start to start from like say that sentiment analysis. This is something that I wasn't being exposed to, because we did a lot of quantitative data analysis back then. So it was all just numbers and numbers and all that, but we didn't get to do qualitative data analysis. So I think here's a good start. Like you learn how to do machine learning, like on a very basic level. So if you want to do self-learn, I think that's the part where you only get to learn more. You know where to start, you know how to learn, and so on. And also there's a community here to learn, because I see the self-learning vibe is going strong in this community. So you could just post your questions and people will just help you to look into the answer. Like we look into the answers together and then see what we can gain from it. It's kind of like Stack Overflow, but except that you have people in Malaysia helping you. So it's kind of like you guys are in the same time zone, and then I see more chances of getting help. I think it's much easier to get help because I mean in the community, within our community, because everybody is here, so you can just like get into the Zoom call and then to see what we can help out. As for Stack Overflow, I'm pretty sure you heard of it, right? Stack Overflow.
Yes, truly.
Yeah, sure. You may just post your questions, but you may not necessarily get help. So yeah, that's the comparison that I can make.
I see. I mean, you've been through the program. Like, what you love most about the whole experience?
Possibly demo day. I think that's the time that I get to see everyone lah. I think that's the best part, and also for the assignments, they are quite okay. I mean, but some of the assignments may take more than just one day. So it's not like like that one day you can just complete the assignment and then just done already. It's more like you had to explore more. So it wasn't just like a short. It could be taking like it's not just like it's not very short. It's sometimes it can take like half a day to just complete the assignment, because there's a lot of extensive reading that we have to do. That.
So it's more like all this prompt you to think the thought process of it. It starts you from there, right?
Yes.
So what would you say it is different for you now compared to back then? It could be from from you get a new career opportunity, or maybe you have wins at work, or any mindset shift after going through it.
Oh, you mean before and after taking the bootcamp? I would say number one, I know where to start for my self-learning journey. Of course, going through the bootcamp doesn't mean that you're already a pro in all of this data science field. I think it gives you a good head start of. And number two is that I think it's to know when to get help, because we tend to Google things, but sometimes we don't have a community to help us. So at least we know how to ask for help. I think that's much easier in the learning process, because when you help others, you are actually learning as well. Like your people are teaching another person, and then that person who teaches also learn throughout the same way. So it's kind of like a refresher thing. Yes, I think these are the most important aspects.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. So lastly, from everything that you actually learned throughout, right? And your whole journey till now, your whole career till now, what is your best advice for other individuals who want to embark on the same path as you, who is also from a non-code background beginning? So what's your advice for them?
Oh wow, this is I have a long list of advice, but if I were to compress it, I would say be patient. Understandable, because I think for non-technical people like me, it will be definitely a struggle. I guess that when you see this whole chunk of codes, you'll be like very intimidated. Like I was like, oh my goodness. But take your time to understand the entire thought process. And number two is that acknowledge that you will Google it someday. So it's not like you are doing this and you will definitely be somebody that doesn't require any help, doesn't require any Google. I'm pretty sure that even pros like Dr. Lau, because he did mention that he Google sometimes, but it is true, because we can't remember everything, but we need to know like how does it work and that. And so Googling is definitely unavoidable. And number three is that you need to know what you want to do. Say that I want to do this whole chunk of stuff. I know what I want, but I just don't know what are the codes. So if you know what you want, when you Google it, it will be easier for you. So I think the most important thing is also to know what you really want. And then you can sort of like list down what you have to do. And that will make the entire analysis easier.
So stick to the objective. I believe I mean, data science is always defining your problems and getting your objective right. And yeah.
Oh, one more thing. I
Sure.
also understand. Understand the business. Oh, thank you for reminding me. I think it's also good to understand the business problem because recently I got into a discussion with a senior, and then she said that a lot of like analysts who join the company, like doing the day-to-day work, they understand what they do, but they don't understand like what is the background of the entire story. Like we have lots of metrics used in digital marketing, like like open rate, delivery rate, and all that, but they don't know what do these numbers mean. So they just analyze and then they just generate charts, like, or other data visualization tools, but without knowing what do these metrics mean. So sometimes like even the numbers go bonkers. They also don't know one. Yeah. So I think that's the most important. Understand what's really going on in general.
In the macro view, basically.
In the
I
macro
believe
view.
that would be actually one big part of data science. Is under domain expertise or domain knowledge to really understand. Like, I mean, yours is in marketing, so basically you need to know the metrics and each and every one of it in marketing.
Yeah.
So not just having the hard skills to analyze and to get the data clean and done, but you need to know the domain knowledge too. Yeah, that's a very good point. All right, so thank you so much for dropping all these golden nuggets from the industry, and also
you're welcome.
You're sharing with from the academic perspective. It's really a very insightful kind of session. So thank you so much, Julian, once again for sharing and also your journey and also spending time with us here. And those of you who are watching in and also tuning in, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.
All right, bye.